Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be looking at the structures of plant cells and animal cells. So we all know that all organisms are made up of cells, and the organisms which contain millions of cells are called as multicellular organisms, and organisms which contain just one cell are called as unicellular organisms. Today we are not going to go into detail about that, but we are going to look at the organelles in a plant cell and animal cell. One of the main organelles in a plant cell and animal cell is the cell membrane. So what is the cell membrane? The cell membrane is a layer which is made up of protein and fat. It is said to be partially permeable. This means that it will let some substances through but not others. The cell membrane also separates the contents of the cell from its environment. But it is difficult to see the cell membrane in a plant cell because it's pressed tightly against the inside of the cell wall. So the main points you need to remember over here for your test is that it's partially permeable and this layer is made of protein and fat, and it separates the inside of the cell from the outside. Next important point is the cell wall. So all plant cells are surrounded by cell walls, and the cell walls are made up of cellulose in a plant cell. An animal cell does not contain a cell wall. This helps to protect and support the cell. So what do you mean by that? So if the cell absorbs a lot of water and swells up and it becomes very big, it's more prone to bursting, and the cell wall stops it from bursting because it's very strong. The cell wall is also fully permeable. This means that it allows all substances to enter and all substances to exit. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the jelly-like liquid which is present throughout the cell and contains all the organelles in it. It contains many substances which are dissolved in it, especially proteins. Many different metabolic reactions. What is metabolic reactions? These are also called the chemical reactions of life, take place in the cytoplasm. So the vacuole. A vacuole is a fluid-filled space inside a cell which is surrounded by its own membrane. Okay? So plant cells have a very large permanent vacuoles which contain a solution which has sugars and other substances called cell sap. So what is cell sap? Cell sap is the fluid that fills the large vacuoles in plant cells. Okay, that's an important point. Cell sap, remember it. When the vacuole is full, it basically presses outwards on the rest of the cell and helps to keep its shape. Animal cells also have smaller vacuoles, and these are called vesicles. Then there is the nucleus. So the nucleus is one of the most important organelles in a cell. It contains chromosomes which are made up of DNA. Full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. You don't need to remember that, just DNA. The DNA determines the kind of proteins that are made in this particular cell. You can, that's what you need to know about nucleus. And the main components of a plant cell is a chloroplast. This might come in your test, which asks you to differentiate between an animal cell and a plant cell. So then you will speak about the chloroplast and the cell wall mainly, and the large vacuole. So the chloroplast is a green pigment which absorbs sunlight, and photosynthesis occurs inside the chloroplast. We will go into the structure of the chloroplast in the upcoming videos. So mitochondria. Mitochondria in IGCSE exams, you should define it as a powerhouse of a cell. Okay? Because it is responsible for cellular respiration and gives energy in the form of ATP. You can either say energy, or if you know what ATP means, ATP. You can say ATP. Okay? Great. So we are done with the plant cell. This is how it looks in real life under a microscope. So you might be given a diagram and asked to identify each component. So you will talk about the cell wall because you can't see the cell membrane over here. You speak about the chloroplasts and this large thing over here, that is the nucleus. Moving on to a plant cell. A plant cell also has a cytoplasm, a nucleus, membrane, mitochondrion. But what does an animal cell not have? The animal cell do not have chloroplast, or we don't need to eat food at all. We can just photosynthesize. It has ribosomes, which we didn't discuss in the plant cell, but even plant cells have ribosomes. They are responsible for protein synthesis. You can define ribosomes as very small structures in a cell that use information on DNA to make protein molecules. Okay? Plant cells do not have large vacuoles, they have vesicles, which are very small vacuoles, but in some plant cells, vesicles are also not present. There is no cell wall, there is just a cell membrane. Let's look at some of the questions which are asked in IGCSE papers, or you can even use it for ICSE. The diagram shows two plant cells, cell P and cell Q. How does cell P differ from cell Q? So what is this, guys? So this is known as the nucleus. I'll label it as N, and even this has the nucleus. Now what is this? Chloroplasts. Let's just see. Okay, there's no chloroplast here. And there's cytoplasm in both. Cytoplasm, I'll label it as CY. It has no cell wall. How does cell P differ from cell Q? It has no cell wall. Both of them have cell walls. So it can't be A. It has no chloroplasts. Yes, this does not have chloroplasts. These are not there. It has no nucleus. Both of them have nucleuses. It has no vacuole. Both of them have the vacuole. So your correct option will be B. It has no chloroplasts. The diagram shows a palisade mesophyll cell from a green leaf. In which labeled parts does photosynthesis occur and where is starch stored? So this, as we discussed in the previous example, is the nucleus. The nucleus, photosynthesis does not occur in the nucleus, and starch is also not stored in the nucleus. What is stored in the nucleus, guys? Pause the video. Think about it. Okay. The nucleus contains chromosomes or DNA. X is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm contains components. It does not contain chloroplasts and does not contain starch. Then Y are chloroplasts. Photosynthesis, yes, it does occur in chloroplasts, so it can be either option C or D. Here's another important point. Starch is also stored inside chloroplasts, so your option will be D, Y and Y. Read the question properly because the letters might differ. The diagram shows a palisade mesophyll cell. Which structure is not found in an animal cell? So what did we discuss about what structures are not found in animal cells? 1. Cell wall is not found in an animal cell. 2. Chloroplasts are not found inside an animal cell. And 3. There are very small vacuoles which are known as vesicles, or vesicles are also not present. So let's look at it. Are any of the lines dictating towards cell wall? No. No, it's not moving towards cytoplasm and not nucleus. So the answer will be D, chloroplasts.